Hello, my name is Ranjana Jain. I work as an IT Pro Evangelist with Microsoft India. In my role as an IT Pro Evangelist, my job is to basically talk about the most upcoming and newest technologies from Microsoft. So today I am going to be talking about Windows being a secure platform by default. Now in 2002, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates introduced this initiative called as the Trustworthy Computing Initiative. As a part of this initiative, we made sure that any product that's developed from Microsoft Corporation comes to you as a product of what is called as a Security Development Lifecycle or SDL. In the Security Development Lifecycle, we make sure that each and every team that is developing and designing an operating system feature or any new product is associated essentially with a security administrator who overlooks and analyzes the security aspect of each and every feature for the operating systems. As a part of Security Development Lifecycle, we make sure that any piece of code being developed by Microsoft undergoes a comprehensive testing and follows a set of rules and standards while coding any piece of software or feature for the operating system. So in order to achieve this particular target, we made sure that each and every product coming out of the Microsoft development factories after 2002 was made secure from inside and by default. Windows Vista developed as a part of the Security Development Lifecycle, Windows Server 2008 were all products of pure Security Development Lifecycle. Also, Windows Vista as an operating system is ISO EAL Evaluation Assurance Level 4 Plus certified. As a part of this developing a secure platform, we made sure one, a code integrity was followed, so that even if an operating system internal file was damaged or was malfunctioning by any way, we made sure that during the startup, the original files were restored in their original position and the damaged files could be replaced with the original versions of the operating system files, hence making sure that your operating system is secure right from the time it starts up. Windows Firewall being enabled for both incoming and outgoing requests was enabled by default. Also, we made sure that user account control was enabled. Windows Defender as an anti-spyware was already installed and running all the time into your system, protecting you from the spyware. Also, we made sure that unsigned software could not be installed by default on the operating system. So every time an administrator tries to install any unsigned software or unsigned driver which is not digitally signed, we make sure that we give him a warning saying that it is not secure to actually install such a driver or software which is not digitally signed. Digital signature, although is not a surety of the driver code or the software code being actually securely developed, but at least it gives us a surety of an organization or a developer who has developed this particular software or this piece of code, so that in case this piece of code or software tends to damage any of the operating system code, we can actually get back to the developer, making sure that he takes the responsibility of damaging the operating system code. And hence, by this way, indirectly we are making sure that we install and develop and get our vendors to develop the most secure software which is compatible perfectly to work with the operating system and does not interfere with the secure functioning of the operating system and does not develop any vulnerability into the system. The user account control made sure that accidentally even the user was always made aware whenever he wanted to make any kind of changes to the system settings or to the operating system registry. Now, while talking of user account control, I must elaborate what user account control actually does to your system. As a practice, we have seen that although the administrative user account is reserved for the administrator to use, but we see that over a period of time, we see all the local users and most of them, especially at home, working on their computers using the administrative privilege user accounts. So while you're surfing internet while logged on as an administrator onto your system, the Internet Explorer application is also the administrator of the system now, and hence every website that you're surfing in Internet Explorer becomes the administrator of your system. Now, the way an operating system is developed, your processor actually has multiple layers at which it allows the operating system code to function. At the layer 0 or the innermost layer, the core layer, it allows the most secure piece of software code to work, because any code working at layer 0 has got complete and complete privilege of access to the entire set of system resources, including the secure memory area and the hardware. The next layer, which is the layer 1, is reserved for system drivers or system inbuilt services, so that they can work in very close relation to the operating system kernel and the services and can make direct calls for accessing the hardware. Layer 2, which is another outer layer, is reserved for multiple other external services and authenticated softwares to work, so that they can use APIs to make calls to hardware and interact with system resources. The layer 3, which is the outermost layer, is the layer reserved for the standard users, for unauthenticated hardware drivers, and for external third-party applications to work, so that they've got least amount of privilege to access the system resources. Now, the user account control made sure that even if you're working in the administrative privileges, which is generally a layer 1 access and has got high access to system resources, even if you're working at that level, it gives you actually 2 tokens. One is the administrative privilege token that works at level 1, and one is the standard user token that works at level 3. When you log on to their system and you're doing normal day-to-day tasks like using Microsoft Office or any normal applications, all you're using is the standard user token. The moment an administrator thus clicks on a setup.exe file, or any kind of driver installation or the software installation is required, he gets a prompt asking and confirming whether he wants his session to be accessing the administrative privileges to jump into the privilege mode and make the changes to the system. In case he confirms that yes, this is the change he wants to be made to the system, he consents to yes, else he consents to no. Now, what is the advantage of this kind of prompting and consenting? In this case, when you're surfing the internet using the Internet Explorer, since you are working with a standard privilege token, even the Internet Explorer right now is working with the standard privileges. And even the website that you're surfing in the Internet Explorer is also working with standard privileges. So by chance, if you're surfing a website that has got any kind of malicious code and it tries in the background to go save a file inside Windows System 32, to go make changes to the system registry, since you are the administrator, Internet Explorer is the administrator, hence this site is the administrator of the system, this website would not be stopped from making any such changes to your system registry. The only problem being that regularly, if you're working as real administrator and you're doing day-to-day many tasks as an administrator, we got the feedback that this feature of user account control prompting the administrators again and again for consent was pretty intrusive, and the administrators actually did not find it very user-friendly to work with. So with the advent of this feature in Windows 7, we gave you a choice to actually set the level of the user account control prompting for the standard user and for the administrators. And as such, by default in Windows 7, we make sure that the administrators only get this prompting done only when they are making changes or they are installing software which is not part of Windows by default. Till you are making changes to your operating system from control panel or doing any Windows tasks that require administrative privileges, you're not prompted at all. So when you're doing day-to-day changes or user accounts creation or user account management or folder changes, etc., you're not prompted, or you changing the time zone or you're changing the system date and time, you're not prompted for consent anymore. You're only prompted for consent when you're installing any external applications or any external driver. So if an external entity is making changes to Windows binary, you will be prompted. And hence the security built into Windows system is so strong now that besides preventing your system from any kind of unauthorized attacks, it also makes sure that your system now is logged by default. with the enhanced levels of auditing set already for you, with the enhanced level of security policies already enabled for you, we make sure that you don't have to download guides and follow those guidelines in order to lock down your system and prevent it from unauthorized attacks. It's locked down for you already, and you might have to take certain steps in order to introduce some kind of vulnerabilities if you want into the system, and otherwise your system is secure by default.